YouTube, it's Lisa. Welcome back to my channel. In this episode, I'm going to be talking about bookish things. And I got a doozy for you for this edition of my channel. If you're new here, welcome to my channel. Thank you for stopping and checking it out. Talk about fountain pens, stationery, and books. Today is going to be a bookish video. If you're a returning customer, I should say, thank you so much. Not that you bought anything, but you do spend your time with me, and I really do appreciate you checking out my channel. So, it's May. It's the middle of May. We're just past the halfway point, and so far this month, I have finished reading up. Let's see here. And I don't have all of my book up to date because I ended up picking up a couple of books that I didn't think I was going to end up picking up. So I finished Jade Legacy. That was a tome. 717 pages. That book was a epic doozy and way to finish a trilogy. So actually, I think, yeah, who is it? Fonda Lee has actually written a prequel, and I didn't read the prequel, and I don't think I will, but the plot of this one was really, really good. I gave this one a 4.5 stars. And for the series, I would say it's a solid 4 to 4.25 stars. She kind of concluded with the two warring clans and kind of like what happened to the two warring clans in this world that she created. Her world building was absolutely epic. I thought that that was a 5-star read in and of itself, just how she did it. I would love to pick her brain on how she came together and got this book from start to end with all the world building, because it was really quite impressive in the language. Then one of the books that I ended up reading next was Read Bottom Up. This was my pick off of my TBR game of a old, long-standing book that I hadn't gotten to. And this one was sitting on my TBR for a couple of years. And I read that. Cute book. I thought it was very reflective of modern day dating, especially amongst younger people. Well, actually now everybody, I can't even say younger people because everybody dates online and everybody talks through text and email versus a lot of face-to-face. I mean, there was face-to-face interaction, of course. It happened, but this book was cleverly written in the way that the book literally gave you inserts and snippets of the emails and or the text, as well as their face-to-face interaction of the two main characters. I liked the book. It's a romance, so it wasn't predictable though. I'll say that it was not a predictable. For some people, it won't be predictable. For me, I could kind of see how it was going to go down, but it's not predictable. And it was just a good read. I mean, there's no suspense to it. I didn't have a lot of notes written on it because it was a Kindle Unlimited. It was a free book, so I returned it back to the library so that I can get more books from my Kindle Unlimited. But that was a good book. And then I'm still reading. I started Giovanni's Room by James Baldwin. I'm about halfway through that book. Very interesting character development and writing in this one. I can't tell you what my final thoughts are on it because I'm still reading it. Another book that I read that was not anticipated. I have a lot of anticipated reads that have come up this month, and I will put a cover up here next to me or somewhere on the side. But I read Recitative by Toni Morrison. It is the only short story book that she wrote. I have to thank Kalia D, booktuber, who mentioned that book because it made me very curious, because the way that Toni Morrison, she wrote it as an experiment, and it's a short story, so it didn't take long. As a matter of fact, I just finished it this morning. The book is about two women, and that's all you really know. All the things that help people identify these two women is one's white, one's black. So you can kind of see that from the cover of the book cover sticker that I made for it. You don't know who's the black girl and who's the white girl, and then later becoming into who's the black woman, who's the white woman, because it's about their lives and just how they kind of stayed together through through their how they stay together through their time that started off excuse me, at a place called St. Bonaventure, which was a orphanage. And they were the two oddballs because they really weren't true orphans. They both have mothers that were alive. There's no mention of the fathers, so they're not in the picture. But their two mothers, like, basically don't are not able to take care of them, and they're in the orphanage together. And so they're kind of put together for a period of time until they either got adopted out or they left. And it carries throughout their lives. So they keep running into each other as they get older, and they keep having these experiences together. And you literally cannot tell. And I can tell you, as an African American woman, I have a pretty good idea. Usually, when I hear somebody's voice, if it's a black speaker or a white person, but you can't in this book. You cannot tell, and you spend a lot of time trying to figure out who's who, because there's the way that she wrote it, you'll have no idea. And I thought that that was very, very interesting, and I loved the introduction of this book, who was told by a Irish woman. And the perspective of people in a foreign country when they read about our race relations, I always find that to be very, very interesting. So this book, I would say, 5-star read. I it's so good. Even though, and I got my copies. I got it both in audio and ebook from the library. I'm buying this book. It's one of the books that I want to actually have on my bookshelf. That it was that good. And it makes me want to jump into more of Toni Morrison, because if I read her, which I know of Toni Morrison, but I don't think I've actually read The Bluest Eye or any of her other writings. And now I've got to like go and read all of her stuff. So she's definitely leaped to my list of awareness. So that was a great thing. So thank you, Kalia D. Kalia D also mentioned this book, and then oddly enough, and I've got like now multiple books going on that are not even part of my picks for my TBR, but are on my TBR. I'm reading The Dream Hotel, and I'm going to show this little book clip that my little book sticker that I'll put into this book. But I'm going to be reading this book because I signed up for a book club in a local bookstore here in DC, and they're having their meeting this Thursday, and I have no idea that I just decided to do this literally yesterday, and I started reading this book. This book is a very interesting book because a woman basically gets put into, I would say, like a detention center, or for having a dream of killing her husband. She doesn't actually kill her husband, she only has a dream of it. And so now in this dystopian society, not only are you getting penalized or detained or put in these centers for your actual actions, but you go to jail for your actual actions, but they're actually putting people away or taking them out of society based on their dreams. So this is a very interesting read, and I decided, like, once I saw that they were doing a book club, just to kind of keep myself busy these days, I decided to go ahead, and they were reading this book. So I ended up starting this book yesterday, and I'm a few pages in, and I'm already finding it very intriguing. So that is how my May reading is going so far. I've also started reading Black Sun in the background. I haven't picked up My Brilliant Friend, which is the book of friendship that I was supposed to read for this month, but I thought Recitative will actually satisfy that, even though that was not the book that I had picked on the TBR jar. That is the friendship book that I'm going to say I ended up getting via just curiosity, and it was a quick read, and especially after reading that 717 book from um, Fonda Leon, The Jade Legacy. I just needed something to kind of clean my brain from that book. But more importantly, and to the side of not only what I'm reading for the month of May, I decided to pull together bookish resources for you guys, as if you're into the reading game. And hopefully I don't lose anybody here, but I thought I would share with you guys some of the book picks that I have, and I'll show you. I'm going to read through them, but I'll have links below. But I'm going to kind of go through some of the book resources that I've learned about recently. And I have notes here. And the very first one I'm going to go into is Audible. Audible is a division of Amazon. I know a lot of people hate Amazon right now and Kindle and all that other good stuff, but I'm still hooked into that ecosystem. I still have my Kindle Paperwhite. I'm not getting rid of it. Um, Amazon has not only Audible, but I didn't put it down, but they have Kindle Unlimited. And Kindle Unlimited, that's how I got Fond du Lee's whole entire Greenbone Saga series was through that. Those are all free books that you get for $10.99. You can pick out like I think up to like 6 books at a time. Great resource if you want to read books and not spend a lot of money. Really, $10. I mean, let's say it's $12 all in a month, maybe with taxes being applied. Great resource. And if you're a reader, I would highly recommend Kindle Unlimited. I find some great deals. As a matter of fact, I've got to change my TBR game to include pick a book off of my Kindle Unlimited read because I've got a TBR list of probably 30 or so books that I'm trying to get through just on Kindle Unlimited alone. So there's that. The next resource, and sorry that I'm hopping around, but I've got a lot of these bookmarks are like, they're everywhere. And I've got so many of them that I have to pull them up as I get it. Okay, so I thought I had maybe sideways version. Oh, I've got bookstores upon bookstores upon bookstores. So let's see if I can get this in any kind of order. I literally was going through this. There's so many of them, it's ridiculous. Okay, oops, I hit the wrong button. Abe's Bookstore, I'm going to zoom in, is a resource that I was aware of from my undergrad years. Not only do they do academic books, but they also do fiction. They're not a free source, but they are a source nonetheless that you can get a lot of books. And a lot of times, because they do resell, they're like used book prices. As you can see here, I'm looking at Masters and Marguerite, which is another book that I want to get to eventually. But that book, you can get it as low in good condition as $8.94 versus buying it at the full price. All right, so there's Abe's book. I'm going to just put down a little dot so I don't repeat some of these books again. Okay, next up on my list, I have to find it, is BookBub. BookBub is another resource. Let me just do this. Is another resource that BookBub. Here we go. You can get your books from many, many different sources. The great thing is they have deals every day. Let me just get out of here. I don't know why I'm getting this one, but they have books every day. And once you do pick a BookBub, let me just sign in here. It's driving me nuts. They have deals every day and they sell it through multiple sources. So like here, this book that I'm reading here, The Dream Hotel, that's on my wish list, right? But if they had it as a deal, you would be able to figure out where you want to do. So I've got some authors in here. Let's see here. Okay, like a tree I can't speak. A Tree Grows in Brooklyn. Let me just pull that one up, right? So A Tree Grows in Brooklyn. If I wanted that book, $1.99. And as a reader, as somebody who's really getting into reading these days, that's a great price to get a book. And once you click on that book, it'll say get the deal. And you can usually get the deal. Sometimes it might only be, let me just shrink this back down. Sometimes it might only be Kindle, but it could be Kobo as well. So you get the deal. Amazon, Barnes and Noble, Apple Books, Google, Kobo. Pick your poison on how you want to buy your book and depending on your device that you have. So if you've got an Android device, you could probably side load it through the Google Play Store. If you're an Apple ecosystem, you can get it through Apple Books. Barnes and Noble, if you have the Barnes and Noble reader, I forgot what their ebook reader is called. Oh, the Nook. I think it's called the Barnes and Noble Nook. You can get it through that. So there's lots of different avenues with BookBub that you can spend what you would spend for one solid book. Like the latest book that's out right now, I think it's called The Names. I want to get that book. If I had bought that in hardcover, because that's the only way it's available right now, that book is retailing right now for $30. Do you know how many books you can buy used at $2 a book, roughly. You can get quite a few. You wouldn't be able to get the full 15 because you're going to have to pay potentially, if you're not getting ebooks, you're going to have to pay for shipping. But getting them this way and getting them in an ebook format definitely will save you some money. So there's BookBub. Then there is Libby, and that is a U.S. Library application. So there's Libby. Let me just get that one up here. And Libby is fantastic as a library app. If you're in your devices, I think almost all the devices you can, whether it be Kindle or Kobo, you can basically go into this and then you have your books that you want to get and they're free. They're either an Audible book or they're ebooks, or sometimes they're both, depending on your local library. So there's that resource, is Libby. The next resource I have is Tortilla. That is another great resource. Let me just bring back up my browser window here. TU. Let me just see if I could just type here. ER. There we go. Tortilla is another wonderful co-op bookstore loved by avid readers. Now they're doing a website here. They now have a website for authors. So if you're trying to, let's say, publish yourself, I think there's some offering there with this website now. I don't do that, so I'm not really looking for that feature, but that feature's there. Great book site, and I think they connect to local independent bookstores as well. One app that I am trying out now is Chirp, and Chirp is audiobooks. Let me just sign in. I think I got memberships to pretty much a lot of these things. I bought my first one, but they have, again, $3 audiobooks. And if you're on Kobo platform, I love Kobo from an ebook platform, but from an audiobook platform, their books are ridiculously expensive. So I don't really buy my Audible books through Chirp. I do still use either Audible, is with the main one that I use, or sometimes I use audiobooks, which is the Google audiobooks application. But they have sales. And again, $1 or $2 for an audiobook is it's a fantastic price. You can't beat it. So there's Chirp. Apple Books is, if you're on the Apple system, you need to not sleep on their books because their books are also really reasonably priced. Reasonably priced. I just got done I got Red Rising on the Apple Books site for, I think, $5, and that book was reselling for much higher than that. Let me just see if I can get out of here really quick. Sorry. So the Golden Sun is selling for $10, roughly. Red Rising was fantastic. I gotta still rate the book, but yeah, absolutely. Let me just see here. Their navigation is a little wonky on the iPad, and I haven't. Oh, here we go. Okay. I don't read a lot on books, Apple Books, but I'm going to stop sleeping on Apple Books. Recitative is selling, if I wanted it in an ebook format, Chain Gang All Stars are selling for $4.99. I just say $5. I just round it up. They have a current bestseller list. I think that their book market is really, really substantial. I don't think it's lacking. I don't think it's maybe as big as Amazon's storefront, but it's not bad. They tend to have all the latest and greatest ones out there as well. Demon Copperhead I'm going to get to, but they have Remarkably Bright Creatures. If you like Bridgerton, they have all that. They have a very good selection, and they have books that go on sale as well. And I've got to remind myself to actually hit this app up because I do have it free of charge. They do reading stats for you, reading goals. I've already hit some of my reading goals on different applications, but I'm definitely going to check that out. They have a library feature and they have their bookstore. And their bookstore, like I said, is very, very good. So, and they always have things that are on sale as well. So there's lots of options out there for that. So that's Apple Books. And then Kobo has its own bookstore as well electronically. Let me bring that one up. This is when you know you have way too many apps going on here. But Kobo, I gotta do a sync. I just got done buying it. So I was saying Demon Copperhead that came out. I just bought, I think I bought 6 books recently, and I think I spent a total of $20 for those 6 books because I was getting them at $1 or $2 each. But I was able to load some of them into my Kobo reader, which I really do appreciate using an app like, what's my side loading app called? Oh, I'm brain farting. I just used it. It'll come back to me. But you can side load some of the books. Calibre, I'm sorry, Calibre. You can side load in with Calibre and make it an EPUB book. It'll come right in. And so I was able to move some of my books that I had on Kindle over to that. But I got this box set, I think, of Before the Coffee Gets Cold series. I bought that for $5 off of the Kobo store. So they do have daily deals as well, and it's always worth doing that. They have a very nice tracking feature. Let me just look at my ebooks. I bought a lot of these books just recently. And like you said, I saw Recitativa. So they do reading stats as well. But you can get a lot of different books off of Kobo that I just, they have a pretty good store. And it's getting better and better because a lot of people are anti-Amazon and anti-Kindle. So there's the Kobo store. Another resource for getting your books, of course, is Book of the Month. I think almost every booktuber always talks about that one. And do I have that? Yes, I do. I have not signed up for Book of the Month, but I have it. And I know that their first book is $5, and then sometimes they have other promotional gear. I think right now they're really giving out their various baseball hats. So there's the Book of the Month. I'm not going to beat that one because a lot of people already kind of cover off on it. Then I have, I think, Libro FM. I haven't started this one. This is a monthly membership. I think it's roughly $15 a month, but you can create a free account too. And again, you can subscribe. I think when you subscribe, you get like one free audiobook a month. So if you've got a book, like I want to read the names, like instead of paying $30, just get that book for $15 and that's yours off of Libro FM. Links will be below each one of these as I go through these descriptions. A freebie, and this is more books that are in the public domain, is going to be Project Gutenberg. And there's a couple of public domain, and I'm going to just list them off to you as Gutenberg. There we go. There's a lot of free public domain websites. So there's Project Gutenberg. There's also LibriVox, and like I said, I'll put the links below. LibriVox has free public domain audiobooks. Digital Book is another one. Most of the books are kind of classic. Open Culture is a free resource that has culturally based books, media, wide range of stuff that's like educational as well. Lit to Go has stories and poems in the MP3 format. So if you're using that, that's also another resource. Internet Archives is a great resource. That one also pulls together other free resources underneath it. That also has books, music, TV shows, and movies. And another free resource is MiniBooks, is another free resource that you can utilize. openlibrary.org. Google Books has some free content. You have to make sure that if you're going through the Google Play Store, that if you're going to use Google Books, which let me get into Google Books. Google Books is kind of interesting. If you get into the Google Play Store, they can Okay, I got all my Google like stuff here, and I'm not showing you the Google Play Store. Okay, so in the Google Play Store, if you go into books, you can find books, and I think when you're trying to check out, you need to basically search on the price of $0 or whatever your currency is, and then you can get the books that way for free in Google's. But otherwise, if you're in Google, they do also have, especially if you're an Android-based user, the way to get books as well, and they will have sales as well. But they have stuff out there that's little to no cost as well. This is like finding a new favorite series, and these books like Sarah J. Maas right here. If you're a Sarah J. Maas person, you can get a $250.51 ebook. That's a great price, right? So you can get that through Google Books, and if you search, and like I said, audiobooks is Google's audiobook. Don't judge me for all the icons that I have. Is the internet audiobook site for them. And I think you can get their app downloaded as well. But you also have the option of shopping deals. And again, they have a wide range of books as well. So that's audiobooks and Google Bookstore, um, the Google Books as well. Another free resource, I get mine through my public library. It's already hooked up in our public library system here in Montgomery County, Maryland, is Hoopla. And Hoopla also has an app, but they also have, I'll look at that later. Hoopla also has free content as well. And it's a fantastic resource for audiobooks, magazines, television shows, and movies. So if you're in the United States, and I think it might depend if your library is hooked up or not for that. But if it's not, I think you can just get the Hoopla app direct. Links are going to be below to get access to that. Let's see here. Project Gutenberg, I mentioned. I'm sorry, I have so many of these that if I were to show you every website, we would be here all day. Another selection choice for books that I think that people should check out. Let me just do this one. Scroll out of here. Let me go back into my. I can kind of get rid of these as I've shown them to you. Here's Hoopla's digital storefront. So there's that one. I've got some doozies in here that I can't wait to get to. So I'm trying to get to the ones that I really want to show you. Story Nori is for kids. So if you've got young ones who want to get free audiobooks, I think you can go over here and the pop-up menu comes up and down. Be careful of the pop-up ads. You're going to get a lot of those. Oh man, sorry about that. You're going to get a lot of those. Like, be careful like clicking in the app. If you've got an Apple Pencil, definitely probably want to use it with this app, because you'll put your finger somewhere and it'll take you off to other things. So all I would say is adult supervision on letting your child have access to this. You might definitely want to put in like something like NordVPN. And I'm not saying that this site is a site that's hacked. I'm not trying to imply that, but what I'm saying is it's easy to. I'm noticing the navigation around the site is not the best. So if you've got little kids with fingers, they might accidentally be clicking on something that takes them away from the site and not give them the content that you're looking them to have. So, but there is Story Nori, and I think that that's a great app for kids. Archive.org is the Internet Archive. And again, you have access to television, film, books, public domain. I think a lot of the books that are available on Internet Archive are going to be more on the public domain, but you could get some classic literature, literary fiction, that kind of stuff. Is going to be another free source for you as well. Let's see here. I did Project Gutenberg. This is what this website is, and all of this is public domain. So these are all free ebooks. I don't know if I would recommend sideloading a lot of this stuff into your readers, but if there's a book that you like, if you're like, let's say, a Jane Austen fan or Emily Bronte, you would be able to find free copies of that type of book on this. It goes all the way up. There's 50 years of books. It goes basically from 1971 to 2021. So I think if you get into some of the other titles, like newer titles, you're not going to be able to find books that are relatively, I would say, contemporary or new. Here is, if I can stop getting the pop ups from doing it, Mini Books is the other free resource. There's a lot of free books on this website. Again, I don't know if you're going to find your most contemporary fantasies. I don't think you can find somebody like Emily Henry. I don't know if you're going to be able to find her, but let's just see if we can, because I know she's a popular writer right now. She seems to be in the moment for a lot of romance people. You might not get any. So yeah. So somebody like Emily Henry, you're not, but you could get literature, especially other titles. They have a wide range of books, it looks like, um, but they might not be the newest books available. So there's that. World of Books is a recommendation from, I got that from Kalia D. She told me about this. This is a UK based website. Again, a way for you to get books very inexpensively, I would say, and they could be probably in pretty decent condition. It's just how quickly you want to get them. It's coming from the UK, so you've got to deal with customs and getting them into the United States. Let's see what they have in the buy three, get another pre-loved book for under $10. And let's see if we can. Got a lot of kids' books, which is great, but I'm a little bit too old for that. Let's get rid of that. Let's do fiction. Okay, so if you're a Frida McFadden fan, sorry for not having that completely into it, or Court of Thorn and Roses, like you can get Sarah J. Maas for $5.66, or The Alchemist, which is a great book. Is another one. You can get Things We Never Got Over by Lucy Score for $4.04. So you can get, it looks like, a wide range of books. The Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo, great book. Inexpensively, you just can't get it right away. So you got to be a little bit patient on, when things come in, but it would be one of those ways to get, if you want to build a physical book collection, you could do so with World of Books at really reasonable prices. And I would say, given the fact that you're coming across from the UK, I would say, since you're going to pay for shipping, get your money's worth. Don't just buy a book, get many books if you can. So there is World of Books, Abe's book. I think I talked about. Did I talk about Abe's? I'm putting dots by. Or I didn't. Oh, I did. Abe's is okay. Like I said, university students, get your books there, because that's a great place to get books for if you're in college or university, as well as regular fiction. Okay, so if you are a audiophile person and you like music like I do, Spotify. With your Spotify membership, you can get books. Let me go into my Spotify account, and hopefully I don't trigger off music. You can go in there. I think I used Spotify. I'm just trying to get to my book so you don't have to see my playlist. So you can get something like Big Swiss, which is on my reading list, off of your Spotify account. Now, I did notice I was using Spotify, and you guys can let me know if you've had this experience in the comments below. I was using Spotify, and I picked a popular book at the time. I can't remember which one it was. And when I did, I noticed that um, it would stop. It would only let me play like maybe 2 hours or 3 hours, and then it would go to a commercial. But as you can see here, I have normal people on here. I have I Who Never Known Men is on here as well. So there's some popular books that come to Spotify that you can see a little bit of my reading history, but there's a lot of options there for your books. So don't sleep on your Spotify account if you've got Spotify as well. Another option is, I'm getting to the stuff that I really want to talk to you guys about. Many books, I did that one. Loyal Books is another free public domain site. Scribble, I've never heard of this one. And this website is for, I think it's audiobooks, but they also do, let me do, I'm sorry, I'm just trying to, okay. I've never heard of this website. Um, so I think it's kind of like you can publish as well. So I think that this is also used by authors. There's audiobooks. You can do, I think you can do crowd pricing. So if you wanted to launch a book and then do various things, so there's some things here that you can get into. Um, yeah, this is a self-published site. So if you know anybody who's trying to self-publish or you yourself are trying to self-publish, you can kind of go to the site, and that's another option for you. I never heard of Scribble before, but there is that. And let's see here. I think I'm down to, I told you about thrift books. Another website that you might want to check out. Let me just go into Project Gutenberg. We did that one. Thrift books, always a good place to get price used books at a reasonable price. That's one of my favorites. And so is Libris. This is a great site. And Libris, again, for anybody who's a college student, you can also get textbooks. So if you know anybody who's in university, direct them to Libris. I think I used them as a way to get my books much, much deeper. Chirp is, where's Chirp? Chirp is audiobooks. Oh, I talked about Chirps. I'm sorry. Don't mean to be repeating myself more than once here. Sorry, that's not what I'm trying to get to. Okay. Some of the ones that are new to me, and I got, I gotta give you the site source of where I got these next few from, because I was looking at YouTube and I was looking at Good Books Lately. That's a YouTube channel, and it's a husband and wife team, and they gave me the next 5 recommendations for you guys, and I'm passing it on. I'm sharing the wealth. The first one is called 5books, and 5books is a very interesting website because authors give you their book recommendations and why they recommended the book. So in this case, Best Books on Terrorists by Dmitry Gorbanovsky, right? So he is recommending these 5 books over here. And then I think you can go in and look at, if you're interested in the writer themselves, and they give their interviews on the various writing processes or their thoughts behind how they come up with the things that they do. They have a best books recommendation for 2024. And they have picks, and these are picks based by other writers, not necessarily readers ourselves. I'm going to put the link up to the couple who did these 5 books, because I think these 5 book recommendations, because I think it's worthwhile listening to them tell it what they liked about the sites, but it's also things that I like, and then they go into a little bit more detail about these sites. But because I've already listed off, I have 30 here. I don't want to keep going on and on about these sites, but this is I liked this site a lot. They really do have a really well thought out way of like picking out, various things that you might want to read. Next up, as a book pick recommendation, let me just get out of here, is Shepherd. Now, Shepherd is really interesting because I never heard of Shepherd, but you can basically say what makes you tick as a reader, and you come up with your book DNA. And depending on the 5 categories that you pick about yourself, I think you get to pick like 5 things that you like about yourself. So you can either pick, best fiction books that they picked out already pre-slotted, or you can kind of get to your book DNA, and they'll say, what is it about, you that you want to explore? So you basically say, I'm wanting to explore, let's say you want to do fantasy, and you can just say, I'll just do it as a general thing, as a topic. And I think I hit go. Let me see what happens here. And so you can say all fantasies, new fantasies, most recommended fantasies, and then you will get authors picks down here based off of fantasy. So like let's say I wanted multi POV YA fantasy. Here's 5 recommendations. So if you don't have any idea and you're a mood reader, this is a really good way to get some ideas maybe on what you're trying to what you might be in the mood for, right? That's the best way I can think of it. So there's that. So that is Shepherd. They have a wide range of different things, and they also have things that are set aside for, again, people who want to be authors, and resources on for authors. So there's how, Shepherd can kind of help them publish their books and get it out there. So there's that. That is Shepherd. Next up, this is openlibrary.org. This is one of the free ones. Let me show you. I thought I had them all written down. Hold on just a second. I thought I had them all listed out on here. 5 Book Shepherd. Openlibrary.org. I already told you about that one. And then this one, I think, would be great for those who are trying to figure out what kind of mood they're in. So you choose a mood, you choose an emotion, and then the site recommends various books for you. So here, let's just say I want a funny book, and I want it to be more funny. I'm hoping that you guys can see this all the way. Let me just zoom back out so you guys can see it all the way. I want a funny book. I don't want it to be serious. I want it to be funny. And let's say I want it to be unpredictable. And I want it to be, I don't want it to be, I don't care about that. Let's say I want it to be optimistic. Let's just pick those 3 things. Okay, so based off of those 3 moods, they give you your book recommendations over here, right? And what I do like about this site, and what I liked about it when they were showing it to their viewers, which I was a viewer at the time, was it was things that books that they will probably recommend to you books that you don't even know exist. And I'm really attracted to that. We see all the common books that everybody's always talking about, but like Chad Chang's The Wangs versus the World, I've never even heard of that book. Or Nell Nico Tyne Zinc. Nicotine. Okay, so that makes sense. Nicotine by Nell Zink, right? So there's that. But it's like The Mystery of Time I've heard of, but I haven't heard of some of these other ones, like Politics, The Form of a Mortal Girl. Never heard of that book. How to Kidnap the Rich. It's like books like that. So that is probably one of the best, I think, out of all the books that they recommended, or all the sites that they recommended. I really liked 5 Book Shepherd and this one, which is Which Books. The links are going to be below in the comments. That's all I have. I just wanted to share this with you as well, because I'm always kind of looking for myself, where I can get things that I have not considered before and expand my reading horizons. That's all I've got for the day. If you liked it and you stuck to the end, thank you so much. Give it a thumbs up. If you've got any other book picks that I didn't mention, hey, let us know in the comments below. All right, until next time, take care. Bye.